What's going on with you, gang? Today we got that this soccer player jumps on a massive crocodile and gets devoured in front of his teammates. That shit is fucking wild. What are you doing jumping on a crocodile, my nigga? You deserve that. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people don't deserve a lot of shit, but a lot of people deserve a lot of shit. And that right there was fucking retarded. Why are you doing that dumb shit? Oh my god. See, he clearly didn't get enough ass whoopings as a kid. He didn't. He didn't. Kids that got enough ass whoopings gonna have that mindset like, damn, let me think twice. But a lot, like even the ones that, nah, nah, murderers even think twice about what the fuck they do. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's all premeditated. This shit was premeditated. He thought about that shit. That's stupid.
In today's episode, a semi-professional soccer player and his team head down to a river in Santa Cruz, Costa Rica.
Man, my motherfucking shit tweaking out on me, dog. That shit wild.
To cool off after a game. One of the players jump in and is almost immediately attacked by a humongous crocodile. Hit that like button and subscribe right now. This is the terrifying crocodile attack on Jesus Alberto Lopez Ortiz. Welcome to Final Affliction. When you think of dangerous animals, the most common ones that people think of are sharks, bears, and other large creatures like that. However, one of the most deadly creatures to exist today is one that has hardly changed for millions of years, the crocodile. And they are just as deadly today as they were back during prehistoric times. This story happened in the country of Costa Rica. The country itself is rugged and holds large rainforested areas, hardly touched by humans. Costa Rica is known for its beautiful beaches, fascinating volcanoes, and its immense biodiversity. Roughly a quarter of its area is made up of protected jungle, teeming with wildlife, including spider monkeys and quetzal birds. However, Costa Rica is also home to the largest number of American crocodiles in the world, which is what this story is about. There are two main species of crocodile in Costa Rica, the American crocodile and the spectacled caiman. Whilst you would not want to meet either one in the water, it is the American crocodile which you need to look out for. These reptiles can grow up to...
That dude got bit by it? Cause you know he like to have shit bite him and shit. That shit's... I gotta watch that.
Whilst you would not want to meet either one in the water, it is the American crocodile which you need to look out for. These reptiles can grow up to 6 meters in length, although there have been some cases of them growing even larger. As adults, they can also reach over 2,000 pounds in weight, all of which is pure muscle. Crocodiles and caimans are carnivorous, meaning that they only eat meat, and they aren't fussy about where it comes from either. They will eat anything they can catch, from birds to fish, iguanas, turtles, deer, and even humans. Anything is fair game to these reptiles. It is not easy to avoid these animals either, as they tend to reside in rivers, swamps, lagoons, small islands, and have been known to even venture into the ocean every now and again. But the thing that makes them so scary is that they are extremely efficient hunters. Crocodiles are very patient animals, and their hunting tactics revolve around their ability to wait for hours on end. The reptiles hunt by stealthily stalking their prey from the water. Once it has caught its prey, it becomes practically impossible for it to escape. This is because crocodiles have the strongest bite force in the world, and once they clamp their jaws onto their prey, they don't often let it go again. With the struggling prey in its jaws, a crocodile will then drag the other animal into the water and drown it. It then eats its prey by biting off large chunks of meat and swallows them whole. Not a fate that anyone would wish to meet. However, some people aren't that lucky. Jesus Alberto Lopez Ortiz, nicknamed Chuco, was a 29-year-old man who lived in a small village near the town of Santa Cruz in Costa Rica. He had lived there all his life and had managed to make a bit of a name for himself by becoming a semi-professional football player for his local team. He
Hey, it's like a big.
He also had a wife and 2 children, who he loved dearly. And whilst he wasn't necessarily rich, Jesus loved his life as he got to play his favorite sport for money. Like lots of football teams, Jesus and his teammates often had to meet up for training sessions. It was whilst Jesus was doing one of these sessions, though, that tragedy struck. It had been an incredibly hot day in July 2023 in Costa Rica, and Jesus and his team were exhausted from their training session. The sun had been beating down on them all day long, and the group of men were sweltering underneath its blistering rays. As Jesus looked over at the nearby river, it was then that he had an idea. The water looked so inviting and cool that the young man simply couldn't help but throw himself into it. Whilst this might have seemed like a great way to cool down at first, it quickly became apparent that it was one of the most deadliest ideas Jesus had ever had. The river that he had jumped into was the Cañas River, an area of water where crocodiles were known to inhabit. Not thinking about the dangers which could be lurking nearby, Jesus began to bathe himself in the river. All the young man knew was that he was hot and sweaty and that he wanted to clean himself up a bit. However, the conditions of the river did not help Jesus' chances of avoiding a crocodile. The water was murky and almost impossible to see through. This meant that any dangerous reptile swimming in it would not be seen until they decided to make their presence known. And, sadly, the inevitable happened. In one moment, Jesus was happily washing himself in the water, laughing to his teammates back on the shore. And in the next, he had disappeared. Jesus' teammates couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. It had been mere seconds, but Jesus had been dragged under the water in the blink of an eye. At first, the team chuckled a little bit, thinking that Jesus was simply playing a trick on them. It wouldn't have been the first time that the young man tried to trick them. However, when the thrashing began, they soon understood that the situation was not a laughing matter. Meanwhile, the 29-year-old footballer was stuck in the jaws of a huge crocodile, and it was hungry. Jesus tried his hardest to make the animal let go of him, hitting it in the face with as much strength as he could, but the crocodile was unfazed. Instead, the deadly reptile began to go into a death roll. This is a tactic crocodiles use in order to subdue and disorient their prey. The reptile begins spinning incredibly fast, rotating as many times as it can, all whilst keeping their prey in their mouth. The shock of the spinning and how violent it is often causes the prey to gasp out for air. However, because they are underwater, this leads to drowning in most cases. And this is exactly what happened to Jesus. His teammates, along with the crowd which had formed along the bank of the river, watched in horror as Jesus and the crocodile thrashed around in the water. What seemed like hours later, although it was actually only minutes, the thrashing came to an end, and the water became still again. Then, rising from the depths of the river, a sight which truly traumatized those who saw it. The crocodile rose to the top of the river, carrying Jesus' body in its mouth. The deadly reptile proceeded to swim around with Jesus' body, clearly making sure that no other predator could get its hard-fought-for meal. Not willing to leave their friend's body in the jaws of the crocodile, volunteers began trying to separate the reptile from Jesus. Sadly, despite many attempts to do this peacefully, the crocodile simply wouldn't release the footballer. Seeing that there was no other choice, a local grabbed his gun from his house and shot the crocodile. Once the animal was dead, the volunteers then ventured into the river to retrieve both the animal's body and Jesus's. Whilst Costa Rica's Ministry of Environment and Energy prohibits the hunting or killing of protected animals such as crocodiles, an investigation was not carried out, as it was made clear that the locals only did it as a last resort. Once Jesus' body was safely back on land, his family decided to bury him in the local cemetery. However, they could never have known just how many people the 29-year-old footballer had touched in his lifetime. On the day of
That's
his
crazy.
funeral, Jesus' procession was attended by over 1,000 people, all of which were either his friends and family.
So he didn't jump onto the back. You feel me? He was just chilling, relaxing, and something caught a hold of him. Crocodile caught a hold of him. That shit's crazy. How your life could just end just like that with stupid ass decisions like that. The water is murky. I don't know who thinks, oh, this water is gonna clean me off if that water is fucking dirty. Let's be real.
Or people that he had helped during his life. Because football had been his passion, all of Jesus' teammates and his coach attended the funeral. When it came time to give their eulogies, the team's coach said that Jesus would be remembered as a humble, helpful, and calm person, well liked by his teammates, a testimony that could be attested to considering the amount of people who attended his funeral. Because of the attack, the Costa Rican government has started to investigate ways that they can make bodies of water more safe for people. They hope to reduce the amount of deadly interactions between humans and crocodiles, which hopefully will result in better harmony between the two species and
That's fucking
prevent more
crazy.
people like Jesus Ortiz from meeting their terrifying final affliction.
If y'all made it this far, like, comment, share, and hit that sub button.